What if you could walk around inside of your favorite TV and movie homes? Well, on this channel you can. Today we'll be touring that gorgeous home from A Star is Born. Hi, I'm Marina Coates. Welcome to Behind the Scenes and Cinematically Inspired Design. That's right, today we're combining both shows because not only are we going to tour the home from A Star is Born, but we're going to discover the design principles behind the home that make it work. Let's get started. The home is situated on a cliff overlooking the ocean, but this home is incredible even without the views. The home of two glamorous movie stars, Norman Maine and Vicki Lester, definitely calls for a grand entrance, and it does not disappoint. A beautiful set of double doors leads us into the entry. They're trimmed out in ashen wood with oversized knobs in the center. Instead of a typical side light, 3 wide panes of frosted glass are stacked on the side. Custom doors are very common in movie homes. It's one of the things that sets them apart. Spending a little more money for a unique front door can also make a big difference in your own home. You can get a lot of bang for your buck there. And it's the first thing people see when they enter your home. The cinema uses it to set the stage for what lies beyond, like a precursor to the design awaiting us inside. Now I'm going to show you the entrance to this movie home, but this time with a more typical door. See what a difference it makes? The cinema knows the importance of making an entrance. Now I want to draw your attention to the next important element of this grand entrance, the steps leading down to the main area. First, notice how wide they are. These are not your typical steps. Not only are they extremely wide, but they cascade down 2 at a time with large spans of landing in between. The effect is mesmerizing, almost like a waterfall pouring out into the ocean, perhaps mimicking the topography outside the home. Now we'll take a look at some of the artwork. This primitive-looking piece is large enough that we can't ignore its presence in the room. And with its placement near the entrance, it helps set the tone for the whole room. It says to us, this is no milquetoast home. Entertainers live here. Their lives are dramatic and larger than life. It also serves a dual purpose. Not only is it a statement art piece, but it also rises to reveal the projector when they gather to watch movies. Clever. But the painting that really catches our attention, both by its coloring and its placement above the fireplace at the heart of the home, is this one. A dramatic, colorful interpretation of the classic theater masks symbolizing comedy and tragedy. Why a painting of theater masks as a primary focus? Well, there's the more obvious and concrete interpretation. They're both actors. But if we look deeper into the metaphor, it's also telling us more about their personal story. That life, though beautiful and intriguing on the outside, often disguises the heartache and pain that exists on the inside, behind the scenes, behind the masks. And that was certainly true about the characters in this story. Interestingly, we also see parallels to Judy Garland's real-life career. She also came from humble beginnings, and through her sheer talent rose to be a huge star. And sadly, also grappled with some tragedies in her own life. Before we take the tour, I want to point out one more element of design at play throughout this room. And that is their use of scale, such as the extra-wide steps which transform each landing into a stage-like area. Another allusion to their story, their lives lived out on the stage. All great design is personal. And then there's the scale of this magnificent, long, horizontal fireplace that spans the entire width of this wall, transforming it into a showpiece. Let's have a little fun and see what this wall would look like with a standard-sized fireplace. What a difference that makes. Scale can change a room. Why do we fall in love with movie homes? What sets them apart from other design? The cinema uses design to create a mood and to tell the story of the people who live there. In fact, in the cinema, you could say, it's all about the story. It's not about trends. It never has been. That's not their job. Their job is to use design to help tell the story. Before set designers create a home, they first do their research. They research the characters, the mood, and the story. All of their design springs from this information. The question they want to answer is, how can the design help tell the story? How can it be used to help flesh out the characters? And as you've seen, they're not beyond using metaphor to help tell that story. They only have about 2 hours to create a mood and to tell us everything we need to know about the story and about the people living that story. Because of this, they have learned techniques and principles that condense down the design so that it has the greatest impact. You can apply these same design secrets and they will have the same impact in your home. Your design can create the mood you want there and help tell your story. Don't use design to just include your story. It's all about the story. And your story should be the star of the show. Remember, all great design is personal. I'll put a link below to my design series, Cinematically Inspired Design, where we learn how to take the design secrets from the cinema and bring them into our own homes. When I was creating this home, I was originally just going to show the living room, but I ended up having to create parts of the den because they could be seen from the living room. And in the process, I ended up absolutely falling in love with the den. In fact, I loved it so much that I decided to complete it and include it in the tour. So that's coming up next. Let's start with an overhead view of the den to get our bearings. These double doors here, just off the entry, are where they would enter the den. There were built-in shelves in the walls on either side. On this wall, seen towards the end of the film, is a rustic fireplace. This wall had a sofa with a large Japanese panel behind it. In this corner, we caught a glimpse of a folding screen with Japanese art on it as well. And on this wall, the fourth wall, that was never shown to us, we can see in this scene that there must have been a bar there. In this corner, there was a games table, and over the table was a wonderful mid-century modern brass lamp. It had an interesting feature. It could be pulled down and then released to go back up. I believe this lamp was another possible source of cinematic metaphor. Norman Maine follows Oliver Niles, played by Charles Bickford, into the den. In this scene, Oliver tells Norman that his career is over. No one wants to hire him due to his antics and addictions. Here's where the metaphor comes in. His wife's star is currently rising, whereas his star is fading. Norman alludes to this poignant contrast as they leave the room. He calls Oliver's attention to the fixture. Then he pulls down the lamp, symbolic of his career, and turns the light out. Then the two of them walk out of a dark room. Now let's head into the den and tour this incredible room. This room has a completely different feel than the sleek, glamorous, open, light-filled living room. It feels more down-to-earth and cocoon-like, and yet coordinates beautifully with the rest of the home. This room did not get enough airtime in the movie. I love this room. In upcoming episodes, we'll explore even more amazing movie homes, learning from the masters of set design, and in the process, learning to tell our own stories through design.